So good morning once again. Welcome to this episode number 10. Allow me to share my screen so that I can begin the proceedings. So welcome to Pain Point YEP series, Pain Points in Clinical Practice, a survey which we started in the month of June and of course answering month by month. Today's episode number 10 of the same. And of course, supposedly it should have been the last episode today, but again, because of my travel in between for 2 days. We are about 1 day behind schedule, but yes, we had a buffer of Sunday. So I'll try to finish up these things tomorrow. So welcome to episode number 10. All my presentations always begin with thanking the Lord Almighty who's given me much more than what I deserve. And of course, big thanks is due to my dad as well, who has been instrumental in teaching me the clinical part of finance, management, time management, and so many other things. And of course, this is my brief CV. You all are aware of it by now. Let's not stop here to, you can say, discuss all these things. So today is episode number 272. We are doing it at the, you can say, altar of New Year 2024, which is about to begin in a couple of days. And of course, one-ways for today: get a pen and a paper, keep noting down the main points. Listening alone will never help. Jotting down the main points will. Writing is the best form of learning, and those who make notes surely make notes. And learning objectives are to finish all the pain points in the next 90 minutes or so. I won't do a recap because recap takes a lot of time. And the aim is to complete all the pain points by tomorrow. And of course, we have picked up a problem and there will be a few visible spelling errors. So please bear with it. And of course, this is the, you can say, webinar series. Yep, series 266, 68, 70, 72, 74, and 72 is the penultimate episode for today. Okay. And this is episode number 10, webinar number 272. And of course, the disclaimer, there will be some boundaries, you can say, crossing. Some people may be asking practice papers in finance and vice versa. Excuse me. So I'll still try to answer being unbiased, whether whichever category it has been posed. So we had until query number 126 in episode number 9 on Thursday morning before I left. Today I'll be going back after 48 hours almost. So let's begin today's session with query number 127 from Bengaluru, Karnataka. So I practice in a middle class income area. Even after so many years, I see huge difficulty in convincing patients for high ticket treatments like implants, veneers. I have attended a few implant courses. I see my mentors posting full mouth cases and almost daily. So far, I have done just 2 single implants in my clinic. Even though I am having an OPD of 10 to 15 patients per day on an average, am I missing something? I don't seem to get why this is happening. Please help. Okay. How to address issues between senior dental assistant and newly joined associate dentist? There is always some politics happening. How to handle this? Okay. So the first thing is that it is not about the convincing part. It is about the patient making an informed decision themselves. So if you equate the same to creating a need in the patient, whereby you can tell the patient why buy this, why buy from me, and why buy now, then the need is enhanced. Number two, you need to top that up with the good credentials. Now, what I mean by good credentials is that you put up your work done, your before after cases, your, you can say, simulations done, your reviews, your testimonials, your patient, you can say, video blogs or whatever the patient has given you in the form of excellent exemplary or excellent treatment done from your side for them, and of course you delivering up to utmost patient satisfaction is one of the key factors which can actually help you in deciphering that where do you lie in that situation, that you can make a decision in that sense. So your mentors may be posting it, but probably you have not been able to build up your brand, I would say, to a level where you can distinguish, where your patients can distinguish between you being an excellent service provider or an average service provider, you being an excellent clinician with the distinguishable skills, but being the normal general dentist doing a few things here and there, as most of the dentists have that. So whatever cases you have, if you have done just 2 single implants, you can also, you can say, ask your colleagues for help, network with like-minded colleagues where you go to their clinic and do implants, and of course document those cases. Once you have a substantial number of 10 to 15 cases, I'm talking substantial number of 10 to 15. People will say 100 to 150 is substantial. I'll say 10 to 15 is substantial. Good enough for documentation, good enough for, you can say, making the patient form a reference point as to where you stand. And if you can do that, absolutely, there will be no limit. Regarding the second issue that you mentioned between senior dentist, dental assistant, and newly joined associate dentist, so the difference is stark. One of them is a dental assistant, the other one is a associate dentist. So there will be some clashes because senior dental assistants sometimes, not always, but sometimes start behaving themselves like, you can say, your right hand, and an associate also wise to be your right hand. So if both are pulling your right arm, the tug of war is bound to happen. So it's better that you define the boundaries of both of them. The assistant is not supposed to, of course, whatever you can say, however experienced the assistant is, he'll still be an assistant. An associate dentist is still a qualified person, much better qualified. Even if the assistant is a qualified, you can say, hygienist or an assistant, dentist will still hold a little bar above that. Yes, he may be short of experience, he may be a little uncomfortable, he may not be fully confident in the work, but that does not give the license to the assistant to cross the line. So define your boundaries whereby you give utmost respect to both, but then don't belittle anyone in front of each other. There will be times, remember your time when you started, because we were all not confident when we started, but the boundaries need to be clearly defined. But any day a dentist is, you can say, qualification wise at least superior. But having said that, you need to define the boundaries for him also, that he does not treat an assistant like an assistant, as if he is the, you can say, a very downtrodden, or you can say a lowly person in front of a qualified dentist. So the boundaries need to be defined for either of them. Both of them may be high-headed, both of them may be, you can say, egoistic, both of them may, you can say, ridicule each other, and both of them may try to cross paths with each other. So if you don't have a toxic office culture, that is going to help you out in this. I hope this answers your query. Query number 128 from Vadodara, Gujarat. Social media practices. Sometimes I develop some underconfidence in my work, seeing the work of others on Endo Haveli. For example, let's take RCT as an example. There are so many cases in which they find 5 to 6 canals, and I can't even find 4 in some cases. Then I doubt my own work and second guess myself. In the end, I know I do good work and start instilling a positive confidence in me. So before I go ahead, I'll answer these queries. So it is, and say, the good thing is that we get to compare our work. The bad thing is that we get, you can say, demotivated looking at others' cases. So it does not mean that if they find 5-6 canals, every tooth will have 5-6 canals. If you are doing good work, be confident of yourself. The good thing about social media, you can say, in today's world is, although we are living in a generation, living in a scenario where there is hardly to choose between, you can say, between not being on social media and being there. Yes, most of us may or may not be choosing to be heavily there, but yes, for sure we are having a situation where it is inescapable. But the good thing about social media is, whether you are heavily present or lowly present or just average time, spending average time on there, the push button or the off button is in your hand. Switch it off whenever you feel that it is crossing the line. Don't doubt your own work, because if you don't praise your work, the world is there to criticize already. So whenever you feel demotivated, just raise your left arm, take it to your right shoulder, and just tap on it. Say well done after each successful completed cases. And that will surely instill more confidence in you. So regarding your second query, ethical practice, bad mouthing of others' work and suggesting some treatment which is absolutely not required. A patient will be visiting another doctor as well, and this creates a doubt in patient's mind and affecting us as a community. Yes, this is a bad, you can say, omen, or you can say bad precedent that has been started. Two subjects we have become PhD in are subject J and BB, jealousy and backbiting, and we tend to draw pleasure out of all this, forgetting that we will also be at the other end or the receiving end someday. It is a life chakra which comes full circle very soon sometimes. And of course, once we start having those things, then it is very difficult to, you can say, come back. And of course, patients will try to take advantage of the situation when we are fighting against each other, and that will set a bad precedent. So what you can do is keep your karma right and do not criticize, and you cannot control whatever is in others hands. You can control only what is in your hand. So you make your karma right. You don't tread on that path where you have to, you can say, be disappointed, or you can say repent on your whatever you do as criticism for colleagues some years down the line. So don't do that. So number three, pricing. Sometimes I can't take money from relatives as well as patients who are not that sound. Anyone that tells me a sad incident or their financial troubles, I charge them less. I've tried to change this, but I have not been able to. The first thing is, this is not a bad thing. Secondly, don't be on a guilt trip. If you are on a guilt trip, then you will not be able to charge anyone. Yes, it is fine if you want to reduce someone who is actually not affording to pay it, and you willingly and genuinely want to help them. But दूसरों को मास्क पहनाने से पहले खुद का मास्क पहने. अगर आप सुरक्षित रहेंगे तो दूसरे भी सुरक्षित रहेंगे. So what I mean by this is that you need to have good numbers in your clinic, and after that, if you want to help others, you have earned decent enough, good enough revenue to feed your family, for your wants, for your alternate trip, then you can of course go in for such a situation where you can actually, you can say, help others as a part of your CSR, corporate social responsibility. Regarding relatives, I believe you should follow the policy that is universally applicable in your clinic. If you divulge pricing before the treatment to someone, tell the same to the relatives also. Probably sometimes, as I say, it is not possible to immediately do it. So what you can do is, if the relative has come to you for treatment, do the temporary part, do the first aid part, or do the some minimalistic treatment. And at the end of the sitting, you can always say the total treatment cost is, let's say, 2000 rupees, and as a, you can say, clinic policy, I'll be charging you 15, 20, whatever percent less you want to charge, and they'll make a decision. So maximum, if you lose something, if they don't pay, is that work done in the sitting. They'll still ask आज के कितना हुआ या everything. Maybe you can charge a token amount, 2, 3, 4, 500, whatever, for the work you have done. Don't do a heavy work, because anyways, even if it is a relative, don't bypass. Bypass means don't bypass on documentation, don't pass on medical history, don't bypass on the, I can say, medical record keeping, and of course, don't bypass on the consent part as well, because these are the patients who will trouble you more. And sometimes these relatives are only which are the D category of patient, dangerous patients. Amazing, breadwinning, convenience, and dangerous. So these may be the dangerous kind of patients. So I hope I have answered your query. Query number 129 from Mumbai, Maharashtra. Present clinic inside building, no visibility, only board present outside. Should I open second clinic branch or try to manage on advertising for present clinic by outsourcing people? Myself tried online, offline marketing at present sustaining, but I have to do all alone. First generation dentist, so no support. My passion, my dream. So till date working and sustaining, but also have to think in terms of aging. How do I manage? So far it's managed. I cannot go for vacation. Trust is a big issue with experiences, finding experienced, finding difficult to trust unknown. And of course, not able to upgrade clinic, not able, I feel what my potential is, I'm unable to reach out. So your question contains your answer as well. If your present clinic has no visibility, you need to have more visibility. Probably you gave up too soon on online and offline marketing. Number one. Number two, you tried online and offline marketing. Give it some long rope. And of course, if you tried paid advertisement, paid marketing, if you did not double that up with your organic presence on social media or on digital media, then of course you would be the one who will not be having any benefits out of that. And if you don't have any benefits out of that, you surely cannot, you can say, expect to earn. Most of us are first generation dentists. Very, very few are the privileged ones who are second or third generation dentists. So don't go into that realms that these things may be difficult for you. Easy, nothing comes easy to any one of us. So don't call yourself a victim, or don't play a victim card by, you can say, underestimating yourself. So if you can't go for vacation, it is because you don't have systems in your practice. You are a one man army. See, one man army जो होती है ना बॉलीवुड में अच्छी लगती है, that one man, you can say, destroys the whole country. For example, that Tiger Shroff movie, Hero Panti 2 or something similar. So you can go and destroy the whole country, which is actually not at possible in practical life. If you want that your clinic, you want to grow in every sphere of life, then the best way for you is to delegate the work where the clinic can run without you. Number one. Number two, you have tied yourself to certain kinds of boundaries. You want that first I have money, then I will go for vacation. So you don't live an or life that I can either do a clinic or do a vacation. Don't tie yourself to those things. It is an or life, that either or. Start living an and life. I want clinic and wealth and health and relationships and recreation and spirituality and contribution to society and my me time. All these things are practically possible only if you desire to do so. If you are not desiring to do so, then of course no one can help you. People will always have it. You will lose some patients, but yes, having said that, that it does not mean those who have built big companies, big empires, it does not mean that they are working all by themselves. Working solo is a great thing in the beginning, but if you want to scale up, if you want to go up to the next stage, then obviously you cannot imagine yourself in that situation where it is very difficult, and you can say pitiful situation. And you can say then it's simply as putting yourself in that situation where you can't go ahead and charge yourself. And of course, recharging is as important as you can say as important as working. So not able to upgrade clinic because again you have tied your goals to certain limitations, that if I stop my clinic for some day, I lose on patients. That is the reason, even if your clinic needs a big upgrade, big change, of course that will require some days of renovation as well. You shifting to temporary premises nearby, all those factors are going to make a role. So these all factors work in unison. You should not be, you can say, using to do that. अब एक बॉन्जाई प्लांट को अगर आप गमले में रखोगे ना, तो वो एक लिमिट तक ही ग्रो करेगा. एंड इफ you can say put that in a open, you can say, ground, then only it will blossom like a big tree. So अगर आप किसी भी छोटे से बरगद के पेड़ को गमले में लगाओगे तो एक लिमिट तक ही ग्रो करेगा. You'll have your boundaries. So if you are not able to tap your potential fully, then you know that the fault lies with you, because you are not moving out of your comfort zone. We hardly realize that the suffering of comfort zone is a bigger trouble than putting yourself in a situation where you can actually, you can say, go out there and go out of the comfort zone and try to achieve the unachievables, or at least the achievables as per your potential. So I hope I have answered your query. Query from Mumbai, Maharashtra, number 130. Please, if you could help me with how to make inventory management list If I'm going out of station for a month, should I leave my clinic with a locum? I'm scared that instead of being beneficial, it might become a disadvantage. How important is to have a separate receptionist at the front desk? My assistant currently sits at the reception when not working. So, see, inventory management list is varying from clinic to clinic, but there are certain basic requirements that are common to every, you can say, every clinic. And it is not a rocket science that you need to, you can say, go in for that. Go to any company website like a Unicorn, you will find the inventory list over there. So do some hard work and you will find it. Rather than we helping you out that whether you need it or not, it depends upon material list also. But certain things which are common, you will find there on the Unicorn or any other website as well. So if you're going out of station for a month, that is the firstly. If you're going for an educational trip, that is absolutely fine. But if you're going for a vacation for that long, is absolutely wrong. The vacation can be as short as 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 7 days max. Beyond that, it becomes a liability. And yes, if you want to leave your clinic, you should be able to delegate your work to whichever way you can say, so that the clinic is running without you in your absence as well. If you're scared that it will become a disadvantage, then for you will not be able to take a vacation all your life. This is the mindset you need to undergo a change. I have given my example for last week. Last week I was out for 3 days, 2 days Bangalore, 1 day Delhi. So this again, of course, there was some backlog of work which I had to complete. But then after working for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, again, I was out for 2 days, and I'm currently out. Once I finish this session and have my breakfast, then I'll move back to my clinic today, and of course, do some backlog. I already have finished almost all the cases which were running. A couple of them are there, which I will be finishing by tonight or by today evening. And of course, new cases start from Monday onwards. So that is the way you can plan your work so that you can work, recreation, vacation all in the same vein. If you try thinking that कि मैं जाऊंगा तो मेरा clinic का revenue effect होगा, अगर आप अकेले हैं तो definitely effect होगा. But if you're dedicating your work to a locum, to an associate, so rather than locum, I would you can suggest you to call that guy an associate. He is actually helping you out in your clinic. If you don't start making them your part of the family, your part of the culture, then of course you cannot expect results in part that. um, how important is to have a receptionist? It depends upon your quantity of work. It depends upon your way of work. Some people have you can say duties of receptionist, as I'll just mention a few things. For example, they have record keeping भी वही करेगी, entry भी वही करेगी, फॉर्म भी पेशेंट से वही भरवाएगी, वेटिंग एरिया भी वही मैनेज करेगी या करेगा whatever. And of course telecalling भी वही करेगी, follow up भी वही करेगी. That is sometimes too much of a task. You can divide this work into reception and admin, where the record keeping part is done by you. Maybe the reception handling and the patient management and the telecalling can be done by that, and of course the form filling in the reception if you are doing that way. So it depends upon what system are you following. Some people don't want the form to be filled. For example, I don't have a receptionist system. Of course there is an assistant that mans the reception area, but there is not a proper concept of reception because we work in a slightly different manner. We don't go in for detailed form filling. We don't go in for other details like that immediately at the startup, because I believe that the patient is there for pain. And of course the first thing is to soothe out the patient, relax the patient, address his chief complaint at least verbally first, and probably then if work needs to be done, then we'll do everything, don't worry. And of course we just want that the patient should have a trust factor on us firstly, because if the trust factor develops fast, then you can say make the patient do anything. And imagine the reverse. If the patient has come out to in huge pain, and he won't be able to fill his right history or right details as well in that situation. So my first time is to soothe out the patient. Let's, you can say, some amount of good words can also help a patient you can say get calm, get relaxed, and expect that he is in the right place. So if that happens, you can do that. If your assistant currently sits at the reception when not working, it's absolutely fine. But imagine the scenario when you're having more work, then you don't have anything. So if I am believing correctly, you are having only one assistant, which is a poor average. An average clinic should have at least two assistants. The golden ratio is 1.5. In any case, there are multiple areas to be manned, and apart from reception and admin, there are CSAs. Of course, CSA you mentioned, but there is a housekeeping area also. There are toilets that need to be maintained also. So think of those grounds where it can create a situation for you, and it will be helpful for you. I hope this helps answer your query. Query number 131 from Bengaluru, Karnataka, had to move clinic location after 15 years of practice due to shutting down a commercial complex after COVID and unavailability of space in the same location. Has impacted practice to an extent as a new space in new location. So has in new location has high vehicular traffic issues and less space for parking. Being a cosmetic dentist expected more of such patients, but work-wise almost nil cosmetic patients. Patients expecting discounts, offers, packages, as other new dentists and chain of dental clinics are providing. So the first thing you need to make sure is that I understand, I empathize with you that changing place is not a very good scenario. It's not a very good you can say situation to be in, especially if you are into practice for I should say more than 15 years. So it does make a difference, but you can always make a fresh start. It may be slightly difficult, but you have the credentials. You can always you can say move your old patients to your new premises. Yes, some will miss out because of the distance part. Yes, especially when you are not in the same location, some will miss out, but you will create new ones. You need to create a visibility, and slowly when people start to know about you that he is an experienced and a skillful guy, as I always mention, experience is a bad umbrella to be in. If you just mention experience and you are not skillful, that hardly serves any purpose. That bubble will burst very soon. So it's better that you keep your skill level high. Of course, coupled with experience, it works wonders. If you're skilled and inexperienced, for example, 1 or 2 years of experience, you will still make a name for yourself. But you are experienced and not skillful, no amount of experience is going to mentioned. No amount of experience mentioned to the patient for the patient is going to help you. So think about that part. So if you are cosmetic dentist, you can absolutely and you can say blindly go in for performance marketing or paid ads, especially on social media, but have a validation point. Put up an organic base first. Unless you have an organic base, paid advertising would be like waste of money for you, because it is like a laser focus. You know your target audience and you know the kind of work you have to do, so you can target anyone who is interested in your cosmetic services, unlike other general dentists who want to target everyone and anyone with all their services. So you have a defined audience, you have you can say defined services which can be differentiator for you, game changer for you, and that is how things will work. So if patients are expecting discounts, offers, and packages, that means you are not having good visibility. And anyone who is a window shopper and looking at and is entering, and you have negated yourself that the old area was better, and now currently you are in the, you can say, that sphere of that sphere where you believe that you in your locality only these patients are there. So you have made that as a mindset because you have not yet been able to reach out to your desired target audience in the new area. So before you can say make it fast, it does not need that you need to have organic presence in the form of 100 pieces of content. You can do that 100 pieces, it's great, but I will suggest that at least you have your presence in the form of 10 to 15 pieces of content each, of blogs, videos, podcasts, you can say infographics, or whatever way you can educate. Educational marketing is one of the strongest pillars in such cases. And of course, even with a minimalistic 10 to 15 to 20 pieces of content of each category, you can start moving towards performance marketing with a targeted ad approach. Hire a good agency for that. If you can't do it yourself, it's not difficult. It's not rocket science how to do paid advertisement. Of course, I do teach that in my advanced marketing workshop. But yes, having said that, if you want to go ahead in that sphere, for the beginner, for the starting with the limited budget, I will suggest you to go in and hire a good paid marketing agency which can help you. So it'll help you filter out these kind of patients as well who are expecting discounts, offers, packages. If you can't offer them and you feel it cheap to offer these things after 15 years of practice, it's better to politely say a no rather than set the expectations wrong, which will make you and the patient believe that probably you are acting rude or high-headed. So I hope that answers your query. Query number 132 from Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. My daughter is about to finish school shortly. She is interested in dentistry. What is the scope for it in coming generations? Overheads, eating out the profits, trying really hard and keeping that under 40% of gross income. Am I doing good enough? So the first thing is a dentist asking a dentist what is the scope of dentistry is a wrong question to ask. You are as familiar as mine. My daughter is yet to finish school, and I believe she is in +1. Of course, your might be in +2. So if you are you can say asking this question, then probably it means that you're perpetually dissatisfied from whatever practice you have. So if you are not satisfied with the practice you have, you are doubtful that whether the daughter will be able to take up dentistry and carry on your legacy or ahead, I'm sorry, you are in the wrong space. It is better that you ask her what does she want. So I believe if you are asking this question, she would be already in 10+2 medical only and not in any other stream. So at this point, you may be confused whether she should go in for BDS to carry on your legacy or do an MBBS, of course, which is getting costlier day by day. So scope wise, I still believe one line, the best of dentistry is yet to come. So the only thing is we need to nurture our youngsters population for that. And in Punjab, I'll give you an example. Since 2015 or 16, except for the 2 government colleges that we have around 50 seats, 40 seats, the other 14 dental colleges. At that point of time, we had 70. Now we have 16 dental colleges in Punjab. Ever since 2015 and 16, barring these 2 government colleges, all the private colleges had an overall pattern of 40 to 50% seats being filled. But 2022 saw a spike close to 70-80 filled, and in 2023, at the time of third counseling, only you can say 1 BDS seat was vacant before the third counseling, and I'm sure that would have been taken up as well. So that puts the percentage anyways at 99.9 or 100%. So which means there is a renewed interest in dentistry, and people are understanding that dentistry as a profession is not over. We may have a technically more number of dentists appearing, but numbers wise, the registered dentists in India are close to 3 lakhs only. Even though number 3 lakh may seem more to you, all of them are not practicing. Even if all of them are practicing, all of them are not good. So you may have a good number of dentists, but there is a, you can say, deficiency in the number of, you can say, dentists who can work well, who are skillful, who are actually good in their work. So the number may be good, but the good dentist number is bad, or you can say is less. So aim for being a good dentist rather than you can see being any other. You can say you can inculcate the same things in your daughter if she is willing to. So if your overheads are eating into your profits, then you are probably not carrying home much. So 40% of gross income is still on the lower side. I believe that gross expenses should be in the range of 30% or so. So, and of course, 30 to 35 max. And of course, after once you are done calculating the gross, you need to calculate the net profit also, the net profit margin also, and that should carry home should be 45 to 50%. Most of us look at only the gross charges, and which actually you can say shows us a false image कि हम लोग इतना पैसा बना रहे हैं. We don't look into the hidden costs, we don't look into the net cost or the, you can say, indirect cost, and these are the ones which actually make a big hole into our pocket, and they are not good for overall profit reflection in our balance sheet. So I hope I have been able to answer your query. Query number 133 from Nashik, Maharashtra. Patient footfall has decreased in the last 2 years. That is why income has become stagnated. Many new dentists coming nearby and lowering their rates, or what might be the reason? Can't figure out. The primary reason is you can't figure out is that you are not visible. If more dentists are there, you are getting invisible and lost out in that thing. So people opening up and lowering their rates is not the reason. No one, you can say, is so much interested in having cheap dentistry. So it is our mindset which believes कि सारे patients C or D बन गए हैं. It does not work that way. So many people are having big bucks. So many queries I have found. I'm making a revenue of 10 lakhs per month, 15 lakhs per month. People have posted their revenues also in the queries. Of course, they knew it that it is going to be anonymous, and I'm not going to disclose the names. But please understand that if your footfall has become stagnated in the last 2 years, decreased in 2 years, probably you have become invisible. There will be times when you work good and the patient says, "Doctor, kahan the aap? Why the hell did not I find you for the past 2 years? मैं तो यहीं था." But you were not visible. So you may say, "Okay, thank you भगवान, कुछ ना कुछ कोई ना कोई तो कदर करने वाला है." But then that is not the case usually. That is not the case usually. It is actually a slap on our face that in this too much noise outside the outside world, we have gotten lost in the crowd. To stand out, to make a mark yourself, you need to be visible. You need to be constantly visible in your target audience mind that you are the one who is a skillful one. All this will stem from the fact if your skill level is good. If your skill level is not good, you will feel bad. You will feel, you can say, distracted, distraught, or depressed. Then even I can't help you. Then even new age methods can't help you. So the first primary thing is domain mastery should be there. Unless you have domain mastery, everything else is futile. Everything else is like a, you can say, a decorative piece which will crumble down, fall down, or you can say have a true calling that it is being destroyed everywhere. So query number 2 from the same is how to use social media, how to market oneself, feeling of being left behind. I posted 2 videos on content marketing. You need to start being visible. How to use social media? I use social media only for education. In the past 2 days, when I have been traveling with my family, people, of course, my family members have been discussing with me. Did you see that Facebook post? Did you see that So I don't use Facebook at all. I said, you are present every day on Facebook. I said, yes, you might be seeing that green dot because the windows are open. I just use it for posting my content in the media, in my community, or in the various groups that I run. But otherwise, very, very few times I will scroll Facebook, Instagram, or anything. I just use it for education purposes. As I say, you may be having too much distraction, but the final switch off button is in your hand. So I have not made myself addicted to social media. Yes, I do consume a few reels when I am about to sleep. I do watch reels for 10 to 15 minutes just to get you can say good laugh, I would say. So, or maybe some good knowledge. I do consume some amount of YouTube videos, but that too maybe twice a week or so, when I spend about 1 to 2 hours consuming some meaningful content. But other than that, I am hardly a slave of social media. So use social media, but don't be a slave of social media. I have my boundaries very clear that I want to use it for education purposes. So how to market oneself? The first thing is education marketing, content marketing. These are the things whereby you can at least set up an organic base and educate your target audience and set up an authority for you as well. So you will be left behind because this is the new age identity, new age pan and new age Aadhaar of this world. So if you are not doing, you will be left behind. So do we need to hire any agency for this? Yes, if you go in for paid marketing or even for content marketing, if you want, you can spare the money, you have the budget for it, go in for a paid marketing agency, which can actually help you in guided plan. But do monitor the content that goes out, do monitor the ads, focus what are they focusing on. Do not, you can say, go blind by just trusting them. They may not be able to target the right people or have the right content or have the right words or have the right spellings or communication. I'm very, very particular about whatever content goes. Yes, occasionally we do make mistakes as well, but again, that is a part and parcel of life. I cannot, you can say, be 100% foolproof. But yes, we try to be at least 99% foolproof, that we don't make common mistakes, common spelling errors, common punctuation errors. Don't use that did went phenomenon. Did went phenomenon is in Punjab, we always have, I did went there. So did is always followed by the first form. It is never followed by the second form. But how many of you got? How many of you did got? Did got नहीं होता, did get होता है. Like that. So these punctuation errors, grammatical errors seem very funny to target audience. So I would detest using them. So I'm very particular about whatever content goes ahead. And sometimes I also do make errors out of oversight, but then I do accept it and correct it whichever way. So you must have seen whatever posts go out from me, they'll hardly have these kind of errors. Mostly, occasionally there may be there. So what should be their fees? It depends upon the kind of work you allocate to them, about you can say content you can say dish out to them. How much to pay them depends upon your budget. It can be anywhere from 5,000 per month to 20,000 per month. That is the limit. And of course, that is defined by your budget, your content to be posted, and the boundaries that you have for, you can say, stretching your arms in certain direction. So have a lifetime agreement with Just Dial, but it seems they also rotate your profile, and those who give them good money, their profile पहले दिखती है. JD has been bought over by Reliance. If you are not aware, this happened 3 or 4 years back already. So, and Reliance bought it for contacts, and they're using it in a different manner. So JD is, you can say, virtually present for you, but technically it is extinct now. So कुछ नहीं होता है लाइफ टाइम, कोई किसी reference number, they are not advertisement. So today the new advertisement is through content marketing or education marketing. So if you're not doing content or education marketing, you are present in the world or visible to the world. And if you're not able to, then there is no point in you can say for the paid agency part. So what is this? For example, if we send a post on Insta or Facebook, hashtag Nashik dentist, hashtag best dentist, hashtag laser dentist, then kya hota hai? Then it's only thing that certain posts which are in that category, which are in that is anyone else also facing some lag on video? Shravani, Bhavna, Charvi, are you facing lag, or only Divya is facing some lag on the video? I raised my arm, said hello. Are you facing some lag or not? सो गए सभी कि जाग रहे हो? Okay, it's clear for Charvi, it's clear for Shravani. So please check out at your end, Divya. Okay. Firstly, there should be no space. You can have hashtag Nashik N capital, K small, and then D capital, but it should be connected. Nashik dentist should be, it should be a continuous thing. Otherwise, your hashtag is Nashik. So it is not a Nashik dentist hashtag, it is just a Nashik hashtag. Even for the best, you have created space out of this. If you want to have that B capital, T small, D capital, and D, you can say aligned without any space with the best. And laser dentist like this. So whatever you can say common posts are there, sometimes some hashtags go on trending. So there are multiple posts. Sometimes those hashtags which have more, you can say, of presence, they get upscaled or uplifted in the search criteria. Technically, for me, hashtags are dead. But yes, still using them in Instagram posts, in still using in some of the other posts and tags. It may or may not help because the algorithm keeps on changing. Today they are dead, tomorrow they may be alive. To you can say in a big form. You never know, because these things are so dynamic. You have to upkeep yourself in that direction. I hope I answer your query. Okay. Okay, it is continued. So how is the target audience is reached? Of course, via hashtag. As I said, the number of posts per topic are increased. And you can say if you click on a hashtag, just move your mouse cursor to a hashtag, you'll see 120 posts, 6900 posts, 7500 posts, like that. You will see how many posts or how many trends are there, and accordingly, as I say, the trend is going towards that. Hashtags don't guarantee that you reach a target audience. It's as simple as that. The only thing is that if every agency is using the same hashtag, it does not mean that everyone. अगर आपके competitor आपने same hashtag use किया, तो जिसकी SEO better होगी वो ज्यादा visible होगा. It's not that कि वो प्रोफाइल रोटेट होके या वो कुछ दिख रही है. The engine optimization, the search engine optimization, SEO जिसको बोलते हैं, has to be very, very, you can say, laser focused in that direction. Documentation is important, but being lazy hurts. Should there be a separate phone only for clinic photos? There should be separate phone for clinic for sure, which should be used to, because आज के में लैंडलाइन कोई यूज नहीं करता. सेल फोन है तो सेल फोन should be there, which should be a clinic number, which should be used by many of us. Of course, it depends upon the size of your practice, but being lazy will never help you. You need to be always on your toes. You need to be always active. And of course, if you are in that space, then you need to make sure that you handle the needful ones. So I hope I have answered your query. Query number 134 from New Delhi, India. Patients ask for discount, not able to convert patient into high paying. Patient feels treatment is costly. All consent form is same. Number one, patients ask for discount, politely refuse it. If your clinic is giving discounts, then do the same as per the clinic policy. Have a separate one for relatives, friends, family, doctors, no one, you can say, or whichever category you want to place them. So I have three categories: 10, 15, and 20. 5% is no discount. Beyond 20% is eating up into my profit. So I don't prefer either of them. Have a clear-cut policy. For example, relatives and friends fall into, you can say 10 to 15% categories depending upon the closeness. And of course, doctors, known doctors, or you can say very good friends or very, you can say, close persons get at 20%. But that is the upper limit. You can have a zero discount policy as well. There is nothing wrong in that. But having a policy is important. Whatever discount percentage you want to give, 5, 10, 15, 20, does not matter. Don't go beyond 20. Don't go below 5 or up even 5 also. Keep above in that range. Even if you keep 0, if you are not offering any discount, just say it prior, refuse it, and that's okay. Not able to convert patient into high paying, then obviously the trust factor is lacking. It is missing. You need to document your cases, and you can say the clinic should reflect your values as well. The internal marketing system should be, you can say, operation savvy. Operation savvy means that if you are handling 5-6 patients in front of all the patients all together, you're not following an appointment system, and you have only 1 chair or 2 chairs, then that shows that. And of course, if you are the only one treating dentist, then that shows to the outside world who are sitting and waiting in your operating area that your operational capacity is too low. If your operational capacity is too low, you will not be, you can say, able to expect returns out of that. So patients will start trusting you if they believe that you can handle their work, which demands higher skill. And of course, you can, if you have a bigger setup, you can place your before after cases, your you can say testimonials in your waiting area as well, apart from there on social media, apart from there on your website. Of course, you can have a kiosk kind of a thing where you keep on having, or maybe a display kind of thing where your, you can say, images or whatever you work you have done keeps on scrolling, and the patient sitting in the waiting area have a look at them without they being asked to do so. So patients feeling treatment is costly, again I would say, दिल्ली एनसीआर में, गुड़गांव में पीछे 1-1.5 महीना पहले 100 crore के फ्लैट were put up for sale. In 7 minutes flat, the auction was completed. 7 minutes. 100 crore के लोग घर खरीद रहे हैं दिल्ली में, and you are saying patient field treatment is costly. It is because you are targeting the wrong patients. You are targeting the wrong patients in the wrong pockets. So you need to make sure that you actually you target correct people. And of course, if you are not doing active marketing, you are attracting window shoppers and those who are asking for discounts and packages. And then that is not the way to grow. If you feel word of mouth is the strategy to go, word of mouth is not a strategy at all. Sorry to disappoint you, but this is not a strategy at all. This is luck by chance. So all consent forms are saying absolutely not. All consent forms are different. Even for a same treatment in two different patients, the consent forms are different. That is the beauty. Consent forms are customized. Once you learn the proper system, then only you will know that what exactly is a consent form. So unless you do it, it is not very easy. So I'm sure out of all those who are present here, Dr. Bhavna has done the consent workshop twice. So she knows how to make good consents. She has been doing it since long. But it's not about, you can say, understanding or putting yourself that ki ye bhi karna padega. This is a work that saves our skin. So unless we realize that, so we would not be in good space. I hope that answers your query. Query from Jaipur, Rajasthan. I graduated 16 years back with almost 2 years break, but my issue is stability related. In the last 14 years, I have changed several clinics with the change of city from Delhi to Jaipur due to family reasons. So for the last 5 years, I had a stable practice, but now I have shifted again to a rented space in commercial area. Response is good, but the place is not mine. I still lack stability. Trust me, you don't need your own space. If after 16 years and you are into a rented space, you don't need your own, because frankly speaking, no dentist would work for 25 to 30 years. Beyond 30 years, yeah, they should not also as well. Your neck and your back and neck would not allow that. When I mean by active working, I mean working to your full potential, because it is a taxing profession. So if you are in a rented space, imagine firstly what is your age, and because many people start late. If you started at 30, then probably or you can say you would be in that spot. But if you graduate 16 years back, I would believe you're close to 40 years of age. So at the most you have 10 to 12 to 15 years of practice. You may keep on working after 55, but it will not be up to your full potential. And I believe that you should not work also. You should think of retirement when you can say you feel that you are done with it. So even whatever rent you are paying, and you even have a commercial property will not be cheaper. First of all, residential property, you will not have that great returns. And if the outgo is 10, 12, 15 years of practice remaining, then rent versus buy option, if you have to choose, rent is any day a better option. Just calculate whatever rent you are paying annually and multiply that by the number of years. Let's suppose 15 years. For example, you are paying 1 lakh rent per month. You get you can say have 15 years of practice. The total rent you will pay is 15 lakh. Add a bit more probably, because you will be you can say you will be having appreciation of that 5%, 3%, 7%, 10%, depending upon your clause with your landlord. So you will have that, or the lease, because in lease usually in commercial spaces they don't raise it every year. Residential में हर साल raise करते हैं, but lease में कई बारी 5 साल 5 to 4 years the rent remains constant. So if you're having that, imagine the amount of rent you're going to pay in 15 years. And if you have to buy it today, how much you will pay for the property? You may give the reason that property will appreciate. You can't predict that. Number two, जहां आप रेंट दे रहे थे उसकी जगह आप प्रॉपर्टी खरीदने के लिए ईएमआई दोगे. So your expenses are going to remain same, only in the hope कि कल को आप प्रॉपर्टी आपकी अपनी हो जाएगी. But then imagine the amount of money that you have paid out as interest along with the principal loan that you will be doing. एंड उसके बाद कल को आपके कमर्शियल कॉम्प्लेक्स के आसपास फ्लाईओवर बन गया, कुछ हो गया, कोई और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर हो गया, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट ऑल द रीजन प्राइसेस कम डाउन टू डस्ट. Then what will you do? You have eroded your life savings in that EMI and in paying the EMI. Ultimately you are left with zero. So एक साइकोलॉजिकल जो ब्लंडर होता है ना कि हमारे को अपनी जगह चाहिए, अपनी जगह खरीद लें, sometimes it is a false security. People just have that notion कि अपनी प्रॉपर्टी होएगी तो चल कुछ और ना ऐसे बुढ़ापे में इस प्रॉपर्टी को बेच के ही खाना खा लेंगे, when we are not able to work. Wrong approach. So think about it very clearly. So I hope I have answered your query. So query number 136 from Mumbai, Maharashtra. Patient's parents finding treatment cost too high for treatment of milk teeth. Problem is most of the cases are full mouth rehab and total cost sounds too high to the patients because of multiple pulpectomies and crowns, because they don't care too much about the milk teeth, staff retention. Okay, the thing is, again, The organic base needs to be settled. You need to educate your target audience firstly about the milk teeth. That is one aspect. I believe certain category of patients will believe कि हमने तो दांत कभी निकलवाए नहीं थे. Why should we even get the deciduous teeth removed? So you have to explain them the problem of crowding, problem of shrinking jaws with each generation, problem of, you can say, having a problem of not doing serial extractions, problem of not, you can say, maintaining spaces. All these are so many topics. You can create a lot of content on treating your you can say educating your target audience. If you believe awareness kam hai, logon ko pata hi nahi hai, to who is going to create the awareness? You. If you are not creating the awareness, then don't expect them to, you can say, do the needful. And of course, I'll tell you the other side. Parents, if they are aware, if they are knowledgeable about this thing, they will make a cut in their own lifestyle, but they will give the best to their kids. So if you believe कि parents बच्चों के लिए shortcut मारते हैं, कभी नहीं. There was a time in my life, I would say, I used to, you can say, buy nothing for myself, but everything for my kid, my only daughter, when she was only there, when she was 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. So having a good enough practice after her birth, it's not that it was an affordability, it was a mindset that needed a change. Of course, I gradually underwent the change in the mindset, and of course, now I equally can say splurge on myself also. I pamper myself also. So of course, but not everyone has that mindset even today. But still, the common mindset is that people will spend anything for their kid. They will want the best schooling, the best clothes, the best for the children. Maybe they don't spend the same for themselves, but only if they're educated, knowledgeable, and are made aware of the problem on hand. So it is your duty to educate them. And of course, once you educate them properly, you make them understand the pitfalls of orthodontic treatment. If you can avoid that, equate with that, because we tend to sell our treatments like car salesman. We sell it like you can say ye feature hai pulpectomy hai, all those things. Sell it what benefits it is going to give them. WIIFM approach. What is in it for me? Unless they realize the benefits, they are not going to buy from you those treatments, even if they seem good for their kids. You have to create that need yourself. That is the primary thing. As regards the second question about staff retention, it works in 4 parameters: monetary growth, career growth, respect and care, and work-life balance. You need to make sure that they are upskilled every now and then. Of course, monetary growth, if they're dependent upon your clinic only for survival, then it is always better that you think that their life depends upon your clinic. So they will need an annual raise, because inflation bug bites everyone, and everyone will have increased expenses. Now you don't raise your charges annually, it is your problem. Don't make your problem as their problem. So upskill them, treat them with respect and care as like your family members. So because they are going to be your right hand in your clinic. If you can't treat them like a family member, then of course don't expect them to share the dream of you that you have for your clinic like a family member. And of course, respect their holidays, respect their Sundays, give them a weekly off. If you're working on Sundays, being a pedo or ortho specialist, then you need to make sure that you give an alternate day as a holiday. That is absolutely fine. But having a 1 day break is great. We're slowly moving towards that time where we are moving towards a 5 day weekend, a 2 day weekend, like a foreign or a Western country. So if you are not giving them respect and care, or abusing them, or you can say not respecting their work-life balance, then you need to make sure that where lies the fault. So I hope I have answered your query. Query number 137 from Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. Treatment specific customized consent template. Customized consent form for specific treatment template. The same word, barfi kitne ki hai barfi. So simple logic is consent templates I teach in detail in my consent workshop. Please do join a workshop whenever I do it next. The only thing is you need to make sure that consent is customized as per the patient, because the top and the bottom are customized. The body of the consent may be the same, but the top and the bottom. The top contains the PCIs or CIs. We call them patient consultation inclusions or consultation inclusions, whatever you want to. We mention mostly of them as PCIs. PCIs change for every patient. Patient expectations are different, patient treatment options are different, patient outcomes are different, patient choices are different. So you need to mention each and everything. Finally, in the bottom part, you need to mention about the policy and procedures of the clinic, the terms and conditions associated with that. Just an example, if you are you can say doing a root canal, the patient gets a root canal opened and disappears for 2 or 3 months. He comes back after 2 3 months, then there is pain and swelling again, and he says, doc, I'm sorry, I had a problem, mera accident ho gaya, mera death ho gayi, ye ho gaya, whatever. You actually feel that it is a genuine problem, so you start doing that. And now once you do some mechanical preparation, dressing kiya, saaf kiya, pain disappear ho gaya, the patient again disappears for 2 to 3 months. Now this time say, doctor, pain ठीक हो गया था, मैं बस पहले छुट्टी मारी थी ना, इस कारण मैं काम में बिजी हो गया, so I could not come. So you would want to charge at that point of time, but how can you charge unless you have in return that you will charge for, you can say, their practice, or for unless you know how much can be the same, you can say, the treatment charges for the same treatment that you are doing. So think about that. So unless or until you have those things in written, the patient will tend to believe that कि एक बार रूट कनाल के पैसे दिए, they are valid for throughout the treatment. हम 6 महीने में कराएं. So put that validity at 2 months, 3 months, or whatever. After 3 months, if you don't turn up for your treatment completion, you will be charged again. This is part of your terms and conditions. Of course, then patient bargaining hoti hai. Put your total treatment cost in that. Double that up with the treatment approval form. Now I'm building up a payment breakup form as well, which I'll be launching in the consent workshop. So once you do that, then of course you can be assured that your consent form is complete. All this has to be designed meticulously. Learn it properly. If you want to learn from me, fine. If you want to learn from someone else, I don't have any issues with that, but do learn it. Don't expect anyone will be giving you all the templates. It is someone's hard work who has learned that in the harder way. I'm not going to share my templates at all in the free version on any of the YouTubes in any time of my life, because that is something very, very sacred. I don't want to go out as a misused asset. People have a glimpse of only 2 3 points and then put it up. I teach a proper system. Want to learn from me? Great, welcome. If not, it's your choice. Okay, so query number 138 from Mumbai, Maharashtra. Concentration of specialized dentists around doing treatment at much lower rate. We are a primary orthodontic clinic, and there are at 30 others just within 100 meters in all direction. Ours is a small pocket area of patients. Patients don't come on time in spite of us informing them multiple times, and later find us rude and leave our practice. Other pain point is the amount of investment in dentistry does not end, but the return ratio isn't that high. Sometimes patients get intimidated by detailed consent form and shy away from treatment. So the question is that if you are finding that your pocket area is small, don't only target your pocket area, target pocket areas around you. Even in rural areas, people can target, you can say, population around their clinic. So it's not about, you can say, doing those things that they believe that only a limited number of patients are going to be their target audience, which is a wrong approach to even think of that. So think of those lines where you can do that. And of course, if patients don't come on time and you so sorry you are late, you need to go back, you'll come next time, that is actually rude. You just need to make them aware that you follow a particular system, and that if the next patient is in, you cannot be able to do proper justice to their treatment. Put it in a way that you are doing good to them by postponing it. You can say, and it also sends a message that you value your time as well. If you're treating them out of time, it does not work. The only way that differentiates between these two things, conveying to the patient that you have come late and being rude, is the communication skills. The politer you are, the better results you are going to get. My patients, for example, if they have a 1 hour appointment with me, there are times when they get late. There are times, I would say, even in today's times, 95% of my patients are on time. you can say, and this system was set up in 2007. It took me 1 year to set up this system, but this system is set up since 15-16 years now. So you can say people do come, but there are new patients who come, you can say, and take it for granted. They take an appointment at 10, come at 10:45. I have another patient at 11. So I'll just treat them politely. I'll just check it up. I'll try to, you can say, ask them, soothe them. उसमें थोड़ा time जाता है. Then I explain them. See, your procedure involves around, you can say, needs about 45 to 50 minutes. And since you are late, it will be difficult for me to do justice to your treatment. हम लोग क्या करते हैं, वेटिंग एरिया से पेशेंट को रूडली बोल देते हैं, आप लेट आए हो, गेट आउट. Of course, we don't say get out. We have that approach कि I won't treat you. Just make them come to the chair. अगर 10-15 मिनट का margin है, make them come to the chair. Ask them what I just told you. Ask them, soothe them, calm them, and then explain कि ऐसे justice हो जाएगा. मैं जल्दी मैं घाई में आपका काम नहीं करना चाहता. I don't want to spoil your work. This work is very sacred to me, so kindly do respect the time, and you can say it very politely, and the patient will understand. एंड जाते जाते थोड़ा सा दोबारा से बोल दो, नेक्स्ट टाइम आप अगर ऐसे आएंगे तो फिर ऐसे ही थोड़ा बहुत करवा के ही आपको जाना पड़ेगा. देन देयर विल बी सिचुएशन जिनमें आप जैसे रूट कॉज कर रहे हैं कि आपने ऑब्जर्वेशन के लिए बुलाया, यू नीड अबाउट 45-50 मिनट्स फॉर दैट. थोड़ा प्रेप करेंगे, थोड़ा सैनिटाइज करेंगे क्लाइंट को, देन ऑब्जर्वेट करेंगे. एंड आपको लग रहा है कि पेशेंट के बचे ही 10-15 मिनट है, ड्रेसिंग कर दीजिए एक बार. Just that it sends a mental message to the patient that yes, चलो कुछ तो किया and he needs time and I won't be repeating this thing. Now there will be a situation जहाँ पे already आपका अगला patient आ चुका है and the old patient has come whose appointment was there 1 hour back. तो tell them, I'm sorry sir, but this patient had an appointment at 11 and I have already started with that patient. As I have told you, we work on appointment basis. So it'll be great if you can say come next time. I'll set up the time for you. He'll say नहीं मैं रुक जाता हूँ, मैं wait कर लेता हूँ. Sorry, we have an appointment after this as well, so I won't like you to wait for your time. बड़ा पोलाइटली सिंपली कहेंगे ना तो मैसेज सेंड अक्रॉस चले जाता कि भाई ये काम अपॉइंटमेंट में करता, टाइम पे आऊंगा तो वेट नहीं करना पड़ेगा. So it is a way of conveying, it is a way of communication that makes a difference. So if you convey it like this, you are late, I won't ready to do, then the patient is going to feel bad and you can say disturbed in a way. So your third pain point is that return ratio is not that high and the investments are endless. In fact, your question has the answer itself. So if you believe that the thing does not have a return potential, why are you going to invest in that? Based on FOMO approach, fear of missing out, or based on JOMO approach, joy of missing out? So rather than FOMO, have a JOMO, joy of missing out, because JOMO is going to help you in that sense. And not everything that is dictated by Facebook and WhatsApp University is going to help you in your practice. It is not going to have a return for you. And unless certain things have a return in practice, I absolutely don't want to do that. But yes, certain times, for example, आप क्राउन ब्रिज बहुत करते हैं, लेकिन आपने अब चाहते हैं थोड़ा अपग्रेड करना है, यू बाय अ स्कैनर. फॉर दैट यू बिलीव दैट ठीक है, अब मेरे को थोड़ा सा डिजिटल डेंटिस्ट्री, डिजिटल वर्क आउटफ्लो निकालना है, आई हैव गुड वर्क, धीरे धीरे इसकी कमी पूरी सॉरी इसकी रिटर्न निकल जाएगी. सो देन यू डोंट think of ROI, you think of plans, how you can market the same to your prospective audience so that you have an increased revenue in that regard. So वो प्लान बनाइए. हर चीज में ROI नहीं घुसानी है, लेकिन अगर ROI है कि ठीक है धीरे धीरे निकल जाएगी ROI, scanner is still going to help me out in the longer run. Save my work, save my material, save my, you can say, have a digital workflow in the clinic. So उसलिए आप प्लान बनाइए कि आप एजुकेशन या कंटेंट मार्केटिंग के थ्रू how will you reach out to your patients better and make them believe that this is a better investment for them. If you can do that, then the investment is worthwhile. Otherwise, if you are believing in the social media approach of investing, then you will get depression, nothing else. And of course, zero return out of that. And of course, patients get intimidated by detailed consent form and shy away from treatment. This tells me that you make elaborate consent forms. The consent forms are copied from somewhere from internet, and that is an absolute wrong approach. A consent form is a verbal first approach. सब कुछ verbally detail में बताओ बिना किसी form के. You should be, you can say, well versed with whatever you have to say. And once you have done that, you get an acceptance. Tell the patient that you have to sign the same in written as well. It will become a procedural formality. if you do follow the way I teach you, then वो शशि कपूर के सॉरी दीवार फिल्म के शशि कपूर नहीं बनोगे आप। फॉर्म भाई तुम फॉर्म साइन करोगे कि नहीं, पेशेंट नहीं साइन करेगा। किसी को भी डॉक्यूमेंट देंगे, दे विल थिंक अबाउट इट, दे विल टॉक टू देयर फैमिली बिफोर पुटिंग द सिग्नेचर्स ऑन सच अ फॉर्म। सो अंडरस्टैंड दैट you are not being can say kind to the patient if you are throwing the form at the patient and making them sign. So of course that is a different proposition altogether if you want to trust yourself in that, but having a verbal first approach for for consent is going to help you. I hope I have answered your query. Okay, I'll take all the questions of the chat after the session at around 8:15 or so. So query number 139 from Navi Mumbai, Maharashtra. Less conversion, even on complete explanation to patient about treatment and reasonable rate. No security, always that threat is there that patient can sue us, and many times patient will claim that they have high contacts. Okay. So less conversion, that you need to work on your selling skills. You need to learn about how to sell effectively. You need to learn about good communication skills. It is about conveying the treatment in a way, and you have to back that up with an evidence. The evidence is your treated cases. If you have done good cases, if you have documented them, if they are there online on your website, then of course the patient also gets a validation point that I am in the trusted place. I am in safe hands. I can hope that I'll get it. Reasonable rate is not the right thing, I would say. You need to figure out the correct GPM and the NPM. How much are you actually going to be profitable? If you are not profitable, the reasonable rate is as good as zero. So understand that very clearly. Of course, no security, always threat. If you do documentation, the patient is not going to see you without that. Even if they have high contacts, if they sue you, कोर्ट में कॉन्टैक्ट्स काम नहीं आते, कोर्ट में एविडेंस चलता है, पेपर वर्क चलता है, रिकॉर्ड कीपिंग चलती है, डॉक्यूमेंटेशन चलती है. इफ यू आर इम्पेकेबल इन दैट, देन इट कैन हेल्प यू. उसमें हाई कॉन्टैक्ट्स आपका कुछ नहीं कर सकते हैं. सो ऑफ कोर्स दे कैन पुट अ प्रेशर आउटसाइड द कोर्ट, आउट ऑफ कोर्ट सेटलमेंट के लिए, दैट इज समथिंग एल्स. बट अगर आप सीयू का डर भी रखते हैं, कॉन्टैक्ट का डर भी रखते हैं, वो भी रखते हैं, then I'm sure you are lacking in documentation. Documentation and record keeping actually gives you confidence. It'll give you you can say a proof that yes, things will improve, and of course you can handle those things better even if it's there. And जिस अगर आपने documentation पे sign लिए होते हैं ना patient के, so then the patient will also think twice or thrice about suing you, because they know they have agreed on the dotted line, signed it along with a witness. Then they can't be about, you can say, this task. So I hope I have answered your query. Don't be fearful. Be, you can say strong with the help of your documentation. Query number 140 from Navsari, Gujarat. My clinic is surrounded by 3-4 trust hospitals, and they're doing very cheap and low category treatment. So patient complains about high treatment charges. Even if we take the written consent for some big cases like full mouth implant, patient is not able to understand risk factors and chances of failures. So there will be people who will be charging less. There will be hospitals around us. I've given my example. Dead across my clinic is a charitable hospital and a big Gurdwara. You can say 300 meters on the left side is a big mandir, you can say, offering a good dispensary. Half a kilometer this side, you can say another mandir having a good charitable dispensary. North side, about 1.2 kilometers, is a big hospital, which is a very reputed one and is a totally charitable hospital. Apart from that, there are about 17-18 clinics in 1 square kilometer of area either side. So if I think about that, 25 people are already sitting. So the manager of the Gurdwara that is opposite me, the head priest or the chief pujari ji of the mandir on the left side, both are my patients. They both get free treatment in their designated Gurdwara and mandir respectively, but they come to me and pay me and get the treatment done. So don't underestimate what people are doing. If you are doing good quality work, people know that अंदर वाले लोगों को पता होता है कि वहां पे क्या काम चल रहा है. सो फ्री में चैरिटेबल में कितना क्वालिटी ट्रीटमेंट अफोर्ड कर सकते हैं हॉस्पिटल वाले, ट्रस्ट वाले, वी ऑल नो दैट. बट देन हैविंग सेड दैट, इफ यू आर टारगेटिंग ओनली सी एंड डी कैटेगरी ऑफ पेशेंट्स, द माइंडसेट बिकम कि सारे पेशेंट सी एंड डी है. नहीं है, नहीं है, नहीं है. थिंक यहाँ पे अगर चेंज कर लोगे एक तो ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा. So even if we take the written consent is not the answer or not the question, you have to take a written consent for most of the treatment. सिर्फ एफएमआर के लिए ले लिया तो क्या क्या करोगे लेके? तो एंडो के लिए क्यों नहीं लोगे? एंडो एंड सर्जिकल or surgical and implants, of course, surgical implants plus endo combinedly have a 77 plus 77 point something percentage of negligence cases. So understand the risk factors. It is a permission. Patients नहीं understand करते risk factors, तो you have to explain them clearly. There is a way to do that. नहीं आता, सीखो, किसी से भी सीखो, मेरे से सीखो, किसी और से सीखो जो सिखाता है. बट डोंट ट्रीट कंसेंट लाइक अ पेपर वर्क की पेरेंट को इतना कुछ बताया था, समझ तो आई नहीं है पेरेंट को, बिकॉज द फॉल्ट लाइज इन योर कन्वेइंग ऑल्सो. इट्स नॉट दैट पेशेंट इज नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग. You have to simplify the things for you. I'm trying to make it simplified for you via answering your queries. But yes, there are people who will still find this also difficult, but then that's okay. So chances of failures are there, but if you make it a safe sided consent कि फेल हो गया तो आपका, मेंशन इट, व्हाट विल बी योर अकाउंटेबिलिटी. फेल होगा तो आप क्या रिपीट करेंगे, क्या चेंज करेंगे. किसी ने 10 इम्प्लांट डाले, उसमें से फॉर एग्जांपल 5 ऊपर 5 नीचे, अगर उनमें से 2 फेल हो गए तो हु विल बियर द कॉस्ट. अगर आप कहें कि पेशेंट सारी कॉस्ट बियर करे, दैट इज रॉन्ग ऑन योर पार्ट. यस, बाय यूज इम्प्लांट्स विच गेट यू कैन से वारंटी फॉर यू, जो इम्प्लांट्स आपको चेंज हो सके. द ओनली थिंग दैट कैन बी इनकर्ड देन दैट इन दैट केस इज द सर्जिकल कॉस्ट फॉर द पेशेंट. तो सिर्फ पेशेंट को सर्जिकल कॉस्ट से तकलीफ नहीं होगी. लेकिन आप कहें कि हार्डवेयर फेल हो गया, तो दे विल से दैट योर सर्जिकल टेक्निक वाज एट फॉल्ट, probably because of that the implant failed. So understand that गलती निकालनी बहुत easy है सब में, but it's not that easy to pinpoint in yourself. So I hope that answers your query. So lack of patients, query number 141 from Udaipur, Rajasthan. Lack of patients, less number of high ticket patients, pricing too low by others. Unethical practice, complete the work by hook or crook and charge less by others. See, if you have less patients, you are not visible. If you have less number of high ticket patients, you have not good number of cases that you have put up. You are not documenting your cases. Pricing too low others का रीजन नहीं होता है. आपके पास अगर राइट, अगर आप विजिबल है, करेक्ट लोगों को टारगेट कर रहे हैं, तो why will you need to even look at others what people are charging? I even till date don't know. I'll be completing my 24 years of practice tomorrow. 1st Jan I'll start my 25th year. मेरे को आज तक नहीं पता मेरा पड़ोसी क्या चार्ज करता है. Some people say, do you charge high? I said, that's okay. I'm happy with that. I don't take that as an abuse. They don't, मेरे को आज तक किसी पेशेंट ने आके नहीं बोला वो तो इतने में कर रहा है. शुरू शुरू में जरूर बोलते थे वो तो इतने में कर रहा था, करवा लो भाई, कोई बात नहीं, no problem, please get it done. I simply say that ways. So I'm charging what I'm charging. I detail it beforehand. Beforehand detail करेंगे, patient will make a decision there and then only. But then if you're not doing active marketing, you will attract only window shoppers and those people who are worried about price only and who keep on looking कौन सा नया खुला चल इस पे जाके try करते हैं. They try their luck and we fall into that trap. If you don't choose your patients, you will get what is in your luck or what is falling by default in your destiny. So think about that. Unethical work by others, unethical practice by others, it is their choice. You keep your standards high, and of course, it is good karma. It is going to come back to you. If you are not relying on that, then even God can't help you. So I hope you get your answer. Query number 142 from Jodhpur, Tier 2, Rajasthan. Equipment serviceability in a government setup in non-provision of service in warranty by the seller. Of course, when you are, it is difficult to sometimes do that in a government setup, but whenever you are getting these things done, getting an order from the seller, put that up in the written contract. And trust me, that the sellers will always be obliged to not let go of the orders because there are so many vendors in the queue who are offering services. And of course, in government setup, जो चीज हम 400 की खरीदते हैं गवर्नमेंट कोटेशन में वो 800 की आती है, बिकॉज थोड़ा उनको इधर उधर कुछ ना कुछ करना पड़ता है. तो दैट हैपेंस इन द गवर्नमेंट सेटअप. 400 की चीज 800 में बिलिंग होके आती है. सो यू कैन ऐड एंड वंस दे नो कि हमारे को चीज का दुगना प्राइस मिलेगा, You put that in the contract, in the written contract, that is you are going to do, कि आपको इस चीज की सर्विसेबिलिटी करनी पड़ेगी. How much time, how much you conditions mention कीजिए and go ahead with that part, because once unless you do that, the vendors are going to take you for a ride. उनको कई बार होता है कि सिर्फ एक चीज का हमें सामान बेचना है, and after that they will not be bothered about that what has been said, what has been sold. So put that in the written contract, and I hope it will bear fruits for you. I hope that answers your query. Question 143 from Thane, Maharashtra. Not able to manage the funds means whatever is coming in, going out on materials. That means you are either not having the correct pricing, means price too low, or you are buying everything that is being shown on displayed on social media. You are trying out every new material without even thinking twice. So if you are doing that, probably you can say stop, refrain from doing that. And if you can't control yourself, give the fund management to your spouse, who can maybe manage it better, and then you can let them know that this is my shortcoming, so please help me out in removing my shortcoming. So I hope that answers your query. So query from 144 from tier 3 city India. Less footfall, be more visible, be more approachable, be more, you can say, seen to your patients, whereby they can make a choice that whether they have to choose you, or choose whatever way you wish to. So if you are not visible, it is your fault. If there is so much, you can say, present in the outside world, then it is not that easy that you will be differentiable. You will be one amongst the crowd. If you have to stand out, you have to be present online, you have to be visible, you have to be credible and authority wise standable. So think about it. Okay, so query number 145 from Ahmedabad, Gujarat. We have two clinics. One is going well, due to that we can't focus in second. One is in small town, so most of patients come by reference. So far, not much marketing and happy. Second is in Ahmedabad, but can't focus much due to first clinic, time wise and profit wise. Simple is, why did you open up second clinic? Was it that kida of shifting to a bigger place and not being satisfied with the rural place? So if you are a rural place or a small town place, वो छोटे शहर वालों को बहुत सारा कीड़ा होता है कि नहीं यार, हम लोगों ने तो बड़े में जाना ही जाना है, बड़े शहर में जाना, पता नहीं बड़े शहर में कौन से लड्डू मिलते हैं जो शायद उनको छोटे में नहीं मिल रहे होते हैं. So the fact is that if you are not able to focus on your clinic, it is like a baby. Clinic is like your baby. ये तो हो नहीं सकता कि एक को आप पूरा प्यार करो, दूसरे को आप स्टेप मदरली ट्रीटमेंट दो. इफ यू आर डूइंग दैट, यू आर डूइंग इनजस्टिस. तो टाइम वाइज भी आप नहीं टाइम दे पा रहे, तो नेचुरली टाइम नहीं दे रहे तो प्रॉफिट कहां से होगा? लेकिन उसके फिक्स्ड एक्सपेंसेस तो पड़ रहे हैं ना आपको, विच आर ईटिंग फ्रॉम द रेवेन्यू ऑफ दैट. सो वो इसी होप में होता है कि कल को यार छोटे टाउन से बड़े टाउन में शिफ्ट करेंगे तो वील स्केल अप द प्रैक्टिस. ईदर स्टार्ट गिविंग टाइम टू योर बेबी, और you can say, sorry to use that word, but abort your baby, or kill your baby, or you can say बहा दो इसको, baby को अपने. Of course wind up, I mean to say, in that sense. So wind up your services. So don't keep that service. If you're not able to give time, effort, you will not be having profit. So why are you even incurring fixed costs of that? It is as simple. Focus on, you can say, improving your first clinic more and more, so that you can give a good, you can say, even if you are having a good referral practice, great, but do indulge in active marketing as well, do indulge in active content marketing as well. So if you are two of you who are able to manage, and the clinic inter distance is not that far enough, and each of you spouses can build it up, please go ahead and manage it. If not, please close that second clinic. That would be my advice from the limited amount of information that you have given me. So I hope that answers your query. So query number 146 from Surat, Gujarat. How to increase footfall? I have done all possible steps, but somehow OPD is not increasing. Increasing OPD. So increasing footfall, more visibility. I don't know what all possible steps you have done. If you would have written, I would have been able to help you better. But if your OPD is not increasing, primarily your, you can say, advertisement or paid marketing is not working because of maybe lack of organic presence. If organic presence is good and paid did not work out, then probably your focus area has not been right, probably your agency has not been right. If you have done all the possible steps and still not got the results, then probably you need the services of a good marketing agency. Just try it out, give it somewhat long rope. कुछ भी आप चीज करते हैं ना, उसको मिनिमम जिंदगी में 3 बार कीजिए बिफोर कॉलिंग इट क्विट्स. हम लोग एक बार ही करते हैं एंड वी से ये भी करके देखा, वी आल्सो ट्राइड दिस वंस, सो इट डज नॉट वर्क. once it never, second भी नहीं गया, third भी नहीं हुआ, then you can think of calling it quits. So ideally, तो अगर आपको conviction है अपने step में, तो you should not call it quits even after 5 to 6 efforts, 5 to 6 time efforts as well. But yes, if you are convinced that I'll try with my wholehearted approach, very rarely this happens. लोग हमेशा आधी approach से काम करते हैं. So if you're trying that with a wholehearted approach, absolutely make sure that you at least try it thrice. So whatever method you have tried, I'm not sure, but do try it at least a couple of more times before you call it actually quits. Because this will, once you have a footfall increase, you'll need good communication skills, selling skills to have a good conversion. Once you have good conversion, then only you can expect your OPD to increase from referrals and from other strategies that work in unison with the word of mouth. So I hope I answered your query. 147 from Hassan, Karnataka. Do we always need more patients? I should be a good doctor, but why error-free doctor? I am a human. I am practicing what I learned in college days. Then why this legal problems? If trust is not there, then where is doctor and patient? So do we always need more patients? Yes or no. It is a subjective answer. So even if you have, you can say, huge numbers, sometimes they are misleading. People fool themselves, or you can say flaunt this thing by saying I have an OPD of 45, I have an OPD of 50. You really need an OPD of 45 to 50. A good decent OPD for a single to twin chair practice is in the range of 10 to 15. Even then you can't treat all of them. So if you have treatable patients, 6 to 8 patients a day, treatable ones, where you have to do the procedures, is a good enough number. So this thing is subjective depending upon the tier of the sitting, depending upon the chair size, depending upon the clinic size, and depending upon the clinic staff size. I mean the associate and the visiting consultant all included. But then we need more patients or less patients is something subjective. The only thing which is remaining is that we need to understand that at the end of the day, if our practice is profitable, that is what matters to us. So I should be a good doctor, but why error-free doctor? I am human. Courts do take these things into account, but having said that, this is the reason sometimes consent forms play their role, and of course the medical dental boards play their role. The consents play a role in making the patient understand the risks. कि हाँ, root canal कर रहे हैं तो instrument separate हो सकता है, but to do a actually big perforation inside the furcation area is not, you can say, a permission to do anything. It is negligence. So negligence की permission नहीं मिलती है, काम करने की permission मिलती है. But error free is fine. Course understand medicine and dentistry is not an exact science. So people will have different tangents, different treatment plans. I mentioned this part very, very clearly in the Dr. Prabha Manchanda case that I put up in 3 parts in case of professional, in cases of Thursday blogs. So do read that out if you have not read it. So the third thing, if you're practicing what you learned in your college days, then you need to really upgrade, because many things that I am teaching, for example, marketing, for example, management, for example, finance, for example, consent, for example, documentation, for example, record keeping, all the things were never taught in college, and you have to learn these skills. So legal problems should be there because you don't know the business side of dentistry, and you don't know the documentation side properly also, because it was never taught to us. The only way we need to understand is by learning them and implementing them properly. Still, people don't value these things: management, marketing, you can say your documentation, record keeping, consent, and of course finance management. They feel ये तो ऐसी है फालतू की चीजें, ये तो चलते हैं. असली काम होता है काम करना क्लिनिक में. असली काम करना होता है, लेकिन इनके थ्रू काम करना होता है. काम करके पैसे को काम पे नहीं लगाया तो क्या फायदा उस पैसे का? Think about rationally. If trust is not there, then where is doctor and patient? Doctor and patient's relationship was abolished long ago in 1986. आज से 37-38 साल पहले खत्म हो चुका है जब कंज्यूमर कोर्ट एक्ट आया. यू आर अ सर्विस प्रोवाइडर एंड द पेशेंट इज अ कंज्यूमर. It's as easy and as simple as that. The sooner you abolish the thought from your mind, the sooner you will get rid of this problem mentally. So I hope I answer your query. So last query for today, query number 148 from Panchkula, Haryana. Staff retention in spite of regular increments in good salary package, multiple indemnity insurance companies. Number one is staff retention is not dependent on monetary growth only. It is on career growth, respect and care, work-life balance. If your staff, you are upskilling them regularly, then they will have that mindset that yes, I'm growing. If they, you can say, learn newer skills, they are more employable, ready employable, and of course they will value you for that. Respect and care today, even your kids don't listen to your abuses. How will a staff member listen to your abuses? So treat them with respect and care, treat them like a family member. And lastly, expecting them to work every Sunday without, you can say, minding it is absolutely wrong. If you are a pedo or orthodontist that you work mainly on Sundays, and even if you are a general dentist or any other specialty dentist that you work on any, you can say, days other than that, then obviously you need to make sure that you give them a weekly off on any other day. But if you want to work 7 days for the simple fear that ये patient तो मेरा चले जाएगा, then you are doing something wrong. Then working on a Sunday is your problem. Don't make your problem as their problem. So understand this thing. Everybody needs a weekly off. We are rather moving towards a culture in the world where we are moving towards a 5-day weekend, a 2-day weekend like the Western world. And very soon that would be a reality. So yes, you have multiple indemnity insurance companies. I have put up my Instagram reel on that, carousel on that. There are 2 videos on my YouTube channel in detail on that. And recently I published a 3-part blog on that. Need to figure out what is your, you can say, niche, what is your requirement, and what all do you want from that policy, and then you can hope to pick up the right ones. I've given that in detail in multiple parts. So do watch out, and if there are any questions, please do reach out to me. So with this, we finish the queries for the morning session, and tomorrow would be the grand finale. Of course, I'll just, sorry. Okay. So thank you for your patient hearing. Just think as I have taken a break since I was traveling. So tomorrow will be the grand finale. But before that, we have episode number 10 for finance, session number 273 happening tonight. Same time, 7:30. But tomorrow, the pain point session grand finale is not happening at this time. It will happen from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. It is not a 90-minute session. It will be a 120-minute session. I'll be completing all the pain points in this, 15 minutes here and there. I'll try and finish everything. I respect it is a Sunday, but was my desperate, you can say need, I would say, or desperate situation that I wanted to complete in this year itself. So tomorrow you don't come at 6:45. Tomorrow 8 to 10 a.m. I'll notify in the group, and the evening session will be at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Finance Grand Finale episode 11 on 31st December, Sunday, would be at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. rather than 7:30 to 9. Again, that will be also 120-minute session. I'll put up the things in the WhatsApp community as well and in the various groups. So don't worry about that part. So be there. And of course, this is the finance workshop which is coming up in the new year. My focus will be on certain things like this in the new year only, to do whatever it can take to educate the audience. I've done my bit on the YouTube. I've done my part on the Facebook community. It's time to move on to different ventures now, which I'll be doing more and more of that. Short courses, long courses. There will be a lot of courses that will be coming up. I have content for every one of that, almost streamlined. So that will be happening. So the homework for you is Whatever your takeaways are, develop this trait of giving back to society. Post your top 3 to 5 takeaways, whatever you have. You can post that on social media also. You can tag me with my ID, Dr. Bhavdeep. Do it right away after the session. Cement your learning, because writing is the best form of learning. And I'm sure this is my social media presence. You all are aware of it by now. Of course, my YouTube also by the name of Dr. Bhavdeep, and Facebook community also by the name of Dr. Bhavdeep. Otherwise, PSD, plugging handicaps in dentistry. And those of you who are watching on Facebook, 8 of you are watching on Facebook. This is the community. If you want to be in there, if you're not already there, please do there. Please be there. And most of you are present in the Zoom room. You already are there in the WhatsApp community. So do send me your feedback. Bookers and Brickbat both will be welcome in equal measure. And I stop my share for questions. Firstly, I take up the questions that are already there in the chat, and then I will take up any live queries from you. So, okay. Let me just check. Okay. Dr. Bhavna asks, sir, how much discount should be given to our staff, assistant, and associate, also for their family members? Follow the clinical policy, whatever clinical policy that you have. I have that policy in staff and doctors category. I give them 20% discount. But yes, if it is a small treatment like a small restoration or a small procedure, then usually for my staff members, I sometimes do it free of cost as well. It does not make a difference. It is only for the bigger procedures, for them and for their family members, that I follow the clinic policy of 20% discount. That is the upper limit. For doctors and for staff members, known ones, I follow that policy, or for whatever. And if staff member says, this is my friend who wants to get a treatment done, I mentioned very clearly, I may not be able to reduce, or maximum I'll be able to reduce is 10%. That 20% is for their immediate family members and not their acquaintances. So I hope that answers your question. Okay. So Dr. Charvi asks, how to decide how much to invest in education and how much in latest equipments. Education, simple way, 10%. You can say 10% of the total gross income that you have. And even in the latest equipments, you just put 10% money of your gross income back into your operations. For example, 2 lakh आपकी gross income है, for example, 20,000 हर महीने आप अलग रख दो फॉर पुटिंग बैक इनटू दैट. 12 महीने में वो अमाउंट 2.5 लाख हो जाएगा. इट्स नॉट दैट यू हैव टू बाय इट इमीडिएटली. इट्स नॉट दैट यू हैव टू बाय ओनली इक्विपमेंट फ्रॉम दैट. इट इज नॉट दैट यू हैव टू बाय, यू कैन से, materials from that. It is not that you have to do it for internal marketing. You can use it even for your upgradation, like a paint in the clinic, for putting up new curtains, for putting up new blinds, for putting up new furniture, whatever. If you keep that amount separated, it will help you out at whatever stage you need. Sometimes वो गवर्नमेंट सेटअप में होता है ना कि आपको इस साल का इतना कोटा अलॉट हुआ है, आपको इतना इस साल में खत्म करना पड़ेगा. इफ यू आर नॉट एबल टू डू दैट, फाइन, कैरी इट फॉरवर्ड. बट वो 10% की आदत जो होगी, उसमें से आपको एक आइडेंटिफिकेशन या एक पाथ मिलता है. thereby you can reduce thereby you can separate your money and not be financially burdened when you actually need that expense. Treat it like a purse where you can withdraw some money and keep it separate, because that money gets topped up every month if you inculcate that habit of 10% to be kept separate. So I hope that answers your query. And of course, when you have to talk about latest equipments, ROI potential या उस potential को कैसे हमने करना है, as I explained in the session itself, कि आपको कैसे उसका प्लान बनाना है to market it to your prospective patient so that वो अपने आप ही generate करे revenue. So I hope this answers your question. Dr. Himali asks, how to charge with Pujari of the temple and the trust person they want discount. As per your clinic policy, have a well-defined clinic policy, lay out the things to them. If that temple priest or that management person has come to you, it simply means they trust you more than their own hospital, which is giving them free. So value their trust. Tell them beforehand, before starting, this is my total prices. Be genuine, be authentic. These are my total prices. But as a clinic policy, I'm going to offer you 10, 15, 20. I do that range only. So as per your clinic policy, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 आपको कितना देना है. My advice is 10 से नीचे ना रखो, या 5 तक ना जाओ. 5 तो मजाक होता है. तो 10 से नीचे ना जाओ, 20 से ऊपर ना जाओ. Again, it is your clinic. You are free to follow whatever you wish to, but this is my advice to you. So, okay. Dr. Divya says, a patient recently said that healthcare is the only place where everything is on the patient. He was talking of record keeping and consent form signing. It was a badly damaged tooth for post and core. All the information was discussed prior and patient was given few days to decide on the treatment. I did not take it personally. I told him, you need to know what you have to do to take care of treatment and life. He went ahead and signed the form, even got few other treatments done later. That is the power of making the patient aware. हम लोग बोलते हैं ना, lack of awareness in patients. कौन करेगा अवेयर? आपका काम है अवेयर करना. कोई आकाशवाणी थोड़ा ना होगी कि रेडियो पे प्रसारण होगा और सब सुन लेंगे और सब अवेयर हो जाएंगे. इट इज द डेंटिस्ट जॉब ओनली टू मेक देम अवेयर. अगर आप अपना काम नहीं कर रहे हैं तो देन हाउ डू यू एक्सपेक्ट द पेशेंट्स टू नो अबाउट सर्टेन थिंग्स? हमारा काम ही है अवेयर करना, उनको बताना, एंड देन they make a informed decision. And I'm glad that it actually helped you out. If you're taking consent in a proper way, informing and making them aware, it is going to only give you fruits as they have been giving you in this case. So thank you, Dr. Mayur. Thank you, Dr. Himali. Thank you, Dr. Divya. So anything else you want to ask, please feel free to ask. Thank you, Dr. Shravani. So remember tomorrow's time, morning 8 to 10 for practice management grand finale episode 11, and 5 to 7 p.m. for finance session grand finale. I'll put up in the group also. इवनिंग वाले फाइनेंस सेशन 7:30 से 9 जो आज होगा, आज वाला 7:30 से 9 ही है, उसमें आई विल अनाउंस दैट आल्सो स्पेसिफिकली, बट यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि कल को है, मेरे को इसी साल में कंप्लीट करना है. ठीक है, कुछ क्वेश्चंस बचे हैं, बट I know the rest of the questions are just breeze through. A few of them are only ones which are there. So thank you, Dr. Bhavna. Thank you, Dr. Charvi. So anything more you want to ask, or we are done? I think we are done. Okay. See you at 7:30 in the evening for episode number 10 of finance for the FPMP series, and tomorrow at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. It's a Sunday, so I wanted to start a little late because I don't have my clinic on Sunday. So I don't expect that I'll be having, even if I have an appointment, I'll keep it around 11 because of the backlog of, again, 2 holidays. So right now I have to move back to my clinic. So let's move it and get going, and all the best and have a great day. And let's hope we finish up all the things by tomorrow. Bye-bye. Take care.